Chemical agents. This has to be one of the most neglected Warbonds ever released. And frankly, it's easy to understand why. This Warbond has a few problems, and we'll be talking about those later, but I can say right up front that if you like using gas against your enemies, then this is the best Warbond for that, hands down. But it doesn't offer much else apart from that. We are getting started on page 1, and my first item is the G4 gas grenade. This is definitely the best item in the Warbond, at least in my opinion. It's a really solid choice for a standard grenade. Instead of dealing instant damage, it spreads gas, obviously. Gas can penetrate tank armor, so this grenade can deal damage to just about anything in the game. Plus, you also get the benefits of the gas status effect, slowing and confusing enemies, often causing them to attack one another. The surprising thing about the gas grenade is the demolition force. You can use the gas grenade to close bug holes and destroy fabricators, which is a massive bonus for a grenade like this, allowing you to not only use it for crowd control and decent damage, but also to complete objectives. You can use it to really well nullify like a stalker nest or a small bug hive. This is a really solid grenade, and this is the highlight of the Warbond in my opinion. It's kinda downhill from here. Page 1 also comes with the AF-50 Noxious Ranger armor set. This is a neat looking armor set. I'm actually a fan of the more muted color palette for this one. It looks more seasoned and appropriate for warfare. I also really like the helmet. It's unlike anything else in the game. It's extremely menacing while still looking properly tactical. This is a light armor set with 50 armor rating, making it among the lightest armor sets in the game. So if you want a mobile armor set, this totally works for that. This armor set also comes with the Advanced Filtration passive, which simply gives you 80% damage resistance against all forms of gas damage. So it is a very, very basic passive. Nothing special, but it's pretty damn good at what it does. With this passive, you can just stand around and gas. Melee enemies will try and come get you, but they will often fail because of the gas status effect. They will stumble around, confused and helpless, while you beat the living democracy into them. However, I do think that you should get more than 80% damage resistance. I think it should be like 90 maybe, because if the passive only has one perk to offer, and it is so specific that you essentially need to make a build around this particular status, then it should be extremely powerful at doing that one thing, right? I feel like I'm not alone in this. I had the same issue with the armor sets for Freedom's Flame. They should both reduce the damage more than they already do, but again, it's still very good at what it does. The last item on page 1 is the Ew victory pose. This is like the worst victory pose in the game. It's not even funny, it's just stupid. And it doesn't even make any sense. Like, we're coming onto the ship. Does it smell bad? Does that bald lady smell bad? Like, what's going on here? We're gonna move on to page 2. And on page 2 we have the TX-41 sterilizer. I find that this is a very divisive support weapon. Many people insist that it's really good, and some don't. And I do think it has some value, but most of the time I would rather use a flamethrower. This is essentially a flamethrower that throws gas. So it's not a flamethrower, it's a gas thrower. It's really good at crowd control, and it has a very surprising range. You can hit enemies from pretty far away with this thing. Like farther than you would think when you're actually shooting it. Plus, it has anti-tank penetration, like most gas does. So you can damage and spread gas to just about any enemies in the game. But the thing is, it just doesn't do good damage. You're going to be relying on your other weapons or your teammates if you want to actually finish the enemies off. So this weapon does require a lot more effort to use than other support weapons. A lot of other support weapons just kill them outright. But the sterilizer is pretty good at what it was made to do. The question is, Do you actually want to use it over other support weapons? This one really comes down to personal preference. And most of the time, I would rather use a flamethrower. I just think flamethrowers are way cooler and they're fun. Page 2 also has an armor set. The AF02 Hazmaster armor set. This is a pretty neat armor set. I like how it looks. It's not as muted as the last one, it's much more colorful, but much like all of the other armors in the game, it's very believable. You could imagine this being a real thing that someone would wear. I like how the armor plates have that Boba Fett color palette. That's pretty cool. And the helmet actually looks great. It reminds me a lot of some Spartan helmets from Halo, or the Flame Troopers from Halo Wars. Did you know that those guys are called Hellbringers? It's a pretty awesome name. They could have been a cool armor set for the Halo Warbond, and they were actually known for using chemical weapons too. So maybe they helped inspire this armor set. Anyways, this armor set has the same passive as the first one, 80% damage resistance against all forms of gas damage, but this one is medium armor with 100 armor rating. So you actually get more protection from this armor set, and I would argue that it fits better with this passive. You can do a much better job at defending yourself in the gas if you're wearing heavier armor. And I'm not really a huge fan of light armor anyway, so I would definitely pick this one if I was going to run a gas build. There's literally nothing else of note on page 2, so I'm just going to show off the vehicle patterns from the entire Warbond right now. I can't say I'm a big fan of baby shit yellow, so these do not appeal to me at all. Especially when there are so many good vehicle patterns in the game now. Go take a look at Truth Enforcers, Force of Law, or the ODST Warbond. Those have way better patterns for you to go pick up, at least in my opinion. I get what they were going for with these, it matches the theme of the Warbond, but it's just not something I would ever actually use. I think I've maybe seen these patterns once in the game on like someone's Pelican. And yeah, so I'm not alone when I say that these are not very appealing. Time for page 3, and we're starting page 3 with the Expert Exterminator title. It's a fine title, but it's just nothing special, of course. Page 3 also has a stratagem. The AXTX13 Guard Dog Dog Breath. What a mouthful. This one is pretty easy to explain. It's a guard dog that shoots out gas instead of firing bullets or firing a laser. It's an interesting choice for a backpack slot, and it's not a terrible stratagem, but I would not take this over the standard guard dog. That thing is just great. It's extremely accurate, and it can take out enemies from quite the distance, while the dog breath typically only works in close range, and it is mainly used to spread gas for the status effect against enemies. It's not a bad stratagem, but I would rather keep my distance from enemies if I can, and I would normally take the standard guard dog over this one. I think having good upfront damage is better than gassing enemies that get close to you. But if you get up close with bugs or the Illuminate, then this is a decent choice and it can help defend you in some scenarios, but I find that it often acts too late. It's not reactive enough for me to want to take over the normal guard dog. Page 3 also comes with a secondary, the P11 Stim Pistol. Listen, I hate this thing. I know that some people are big fans of the Stim Pistol, and it does bring something new to the table, but I just find that you have to put so much effort into using this thing in a game where using something like this feels extremely punished. For those who don't know, this is a pistol that shoots healing stims. It's right there in the title, which is a really cool idea for a secondary, but there are so many drawbacks to using it. The worst thing about this pistol is that you need really, really good aim for this to work good. And the stims travel very slowly, so you need to lead your shots as well. And that's really, really hard to do under pressure. If this was a lock-on weapon, then I think it would be much better. It can't penetrate friendly shields either, which is just awful. if your teammate is running a shield generator, then this thing is so much harder to use. You have to wait for your teammate's shield to go down, or you have to awkwardly position yourself inside their tiny little shield and stim them up front. But that takes so much more time to do than just stimming yourself or getting stimmed normally by a teammate. So my suggestions for the stim pistol are the same that they always have been. Give it a lock-on mode and make it penetrate friendly shields. The projectile is already so slow, and Dune taught me that the slow blade penetrates the shield, so I think it should just go through the goddamn shield and heal your teammates, like bare minimum. Does the stim pistol have something to offer? Yes, and it's very unique, but is using it a giant pain in my fucking ass? Absolutely. And finally, we have the natural gas extraction emote. This is just stupid. I really don't know what else to say about this. In conclusion, I think this is far from the best Warbond in the game. There are a few decent items in here, but they're not incredibly useful outside of playing as a niche gas build. And sometimes they're the stim pistol, which is not useful. I mean, it kind of, but it's just shitty. And honestly, I think in general that's fine. This isn't an essential Warbond, but it's important for Warbonds to be distinct and have their own style. I think the worst part about this Warbond is honestly the cosmetics. It's just my opinion, but I don't think there are any good-looking cosmetics in this Warbond. The emote and the victory pose are just dumb. I've never actually seen anybody use them before. The vehicle cosmetics are really, really bad in my opinion. Plus, the cards and the capes are nothing special. So yeah, this Warbond does have its own style, but I'm not a big fan of that style personally. This Warbond was actually somewhat controversial when it first released. This was the first time that stratagems were actually locked behind a Warbond, and while that is mostly accepted these days, there was some disappointment at the thought of future stratagems being stuck behind Warbonds. Some people are still not happy about that, which is fair. So there's even more negative connotations stuck with this Warbond. Again, it's not the one you want to get first, but if you like gas, consider this as an option at some point. But this is a hyper niche Warbond, and I think that it's not as good as a lot of the other ones. But what do you think about chemical agents? Is it good? Do you like gassing people? That's kind of fucked up. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe to the channel for more Helldivers videos and Warbond reviews. I want to thank my 2 channel members right now, Cheddar and Swickety. You guys are the pillars that this is built on, so thank you very, very much. And that is all I have for today, so this is the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.